their life.
Hello, good day. And this is Tech Rounds on Tech Build Africa. Very glad to have you on this new series of this discussion. And today it's going to be very interesting. So if you are scrolling past your phone now, I just wanted to put a halt to it because you're about to witness the discussion of the moment. And today we're about to see innovation, Africa's innovation from the perspective of a woman. Isn't that interesting? And to do justice to this very topic, I have a very interesting personality here with me in the studio. A thought leader, a woman innovator, an entrepreneur, a mentor. I could just go on. The list goes on. So I have with me Grace Oluchi. Hi, Grace. Good afternoon and welcome to Tech Rounds on Tech Build Africa.
Good afternoon, and I'm smiling because I'm looking for who you are introducing. Meet your thought leader, a mentor, and everything. Hi, Emmanuel. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure
Yeah.
to be here. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you very
inviting
much.
me.
So, how do you feel? I know it's midday here in Nigeria. So, how do you feel hopping on this kind of conversation by this time?
Uh, I feel good. I mean, I'm a bit, you know, I'm a bit worried about the topic because I don't think I can speak for all women from a woman's perspective. I think I can speak from my perspective as a woman, and it'll be interesting. Let's see how the conversation goes. But
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
it's
All
nice.
right. Thank you very much. So we'll get back to Grace. So I will just give you a sneak peek of Grace's personality. Grace is an impact consultant and expert in fundraising and grant writing, and she's also a community development specialist. And she has seen and implemented a couple of women impact projects that have changed the landscape of innovation and entrepreneurship for African women. Do I need to mention growth for her, creative spaces, and a lot more? I believe she would have to say that by herself. So, Grace is a Nigerian and a Cameroonian. I don't know how to go about that one, but she will do
I'm a Pan
justice to that.
African.
Okay, she's a Pan African, so to say. So that is just a bit from Grace, I would just say for now before I get back to that. So, just a brief into the topic we're about to discuss today, seeing innovation from the African woman's perspective. So, we are in an ecosystem that we've had most of the success stories being told from a man's perspective, and the phrase is a man's world. But I'm here to tell you that women are actually doing a lot in the ecosystem, and it's not about the question of what are women doing in the ecosystem. We are now trying to celebrate and then identify the impact a woman has in the African ecosystem. So just yesterday we celebrated the International Girls Child Day, and I would say it's not a coincidence or something that today we are talking about the African woman's perspective when it comes to innovation in Africa. Like I said before, women have a lot to offer, and we wouldn't see that value if we don't build supportive ecosystems, if we don't have that inclusiveness in our ecosystem, and that is what we are clamoring for. So, in all of this, Africa's innovation in a woman's perspective, it's actually a thought-provoking discussion. And yes, we're going to do justice to that. And we'll do our best to ensure that you have the best insight and everything you need to know, the best stories and everything. Yeah, back to you, Grace. So, we'd love to know a little bit about close. Who is Grace and where are you seeing adding value?
My name is Grace Oluchi, as Emmanuel has said. Grace Oluchi Mba, for those who want three names.
Okay.
Um, I think I have about 11 years experience in the development space, 11 or so,
Okay.
11, 12. I've lost count. In the development space, I've been doing work across the continent, sub-Saharan Africa, I think across the continent. My programs, I've mostly co-created impact programs for youth, for underserved communities. I have a deep passion for underserved communities and for women. I think some of my programs have been able to reach and impact plus 10,000 people.
Wow.
I think, and so currently, if you want to know about my work currently, there's Creative Space, which we are in. And we've created this space for digital creatives like
Yeah.
yourself and the work you're doing with Tech Build. There is Climate Action Africa, in which we're also trying to support and add our voice to the climate action conversation, especially in building resilient communities for Africa. Um, There is Growth for Her, which is under creative spaces as well. There's Build Media Africa, of which Tech Build is one of the arms within which we do work. And yeah, so that's me. If you want certificates, I can give you that, but I don't think that's necessary for the
Maybe
conversation.
do we have to go and verify?
Yeah, you can go verify. But yes, let's
All
go
right,
on.
thank you very much, Grace. So I will just give us will I say an anchor of our discussion, how we're going to discuss the key talking points of our conversation. So we'll look at celebrating a woman's impact in the ecosystem. We'll also be sharing the innovative stories of women, exemplary ones for that matter, and also addressing the challenges that we are having, challenges like the funding gap that we've been talking about, which is a popular concern, and creating inclusive ecosystem. Also, we'll be looking at the STEM education and how a girl child can always leverage STEM education in tech to scale up whatever they're doing. And then lastly, the women in the creative economy. So I mean, it's really interesting. So you see that we have a lot lined up to actually discuss today. All right, so let's go in straight to the question rounds and see what Grace has for us today. So the first one, where do we stand currently with regards to women inclusion in Africa's innovation ecosystem?
Firstly, when we start to talk about this, I want to take a moment to say Happy International Day for the Girl Child.
Yeah, happy
It's
International
International
Day
Day
to
for
the
the
girl
Girl
child.
Child. Yeah, it's yesterday, but it's something we should celebrate
Yeah,
every day. Every day is for the girl child.
there's
Um,
a bias. I don't. Did I say bias? Okay, we tend to celebrate. I think we have more Mother's Day than Father's Day.
we do, and again, I'll say this. I think for a while now, I've stopped celebrating a couple of things. Like even yesterday, which is International Day of the Girl Child. If you check any of my socials or whatever, I didn't post anything. Um, Again, it could be tokenistic, which is a day that people want to come and talk about how they're helping women or how they'll
Okay.
help women and girls without necessarily doing anything. Um, I know that there's a clamor for more men to be celebrated, and I mean we celebrate men every day. I'm not a toxic feminist. So I'm celebrating men every day. I really believe that society is built by really strong men
Okay.
and strong women, and we have to celebrate men as much as we celebrate women. I mean, if you want more Father's Days, you can create Abia Father's Day so that we celebrate fathers in Abia and Lagos Father's Days. But then
That's a topic
we
for another
celebrate
day, right?
yes, yes, we celebrate you guys every day. And to talk about where we currently stand in terms of women inclusion, I'd like to just say that first off, we have SDGs again. I mean, the development space. I always like to speak from a point of the Sustainable Development Goals, which I think we will not attain by 2030.
2030 is already here.
We will not attain it, but I'm happy for the UN and everybody who sat down to co-create this. Funny story. Speaking of women innovation, there were two women professors who actually created the SDGs. So the UN adopted it after these two women had actually sat down and co-created it and designed it and looked at so they looked at the MDGs and they said the MDGs were not inclusive because the Millennium Developmental Goals focused on developing countries,
Okay.
least developing countries, and forgot about developed countries. But what they were saying was that in terms of sustainable development, for us to advance as a world, then everybody had to be included in the conversation, which means developed countries, what is your contribution to global development? And then developing countries, what do we need to do? So it became a global conversation.
Okay.
So that's a woman's perspective right there, making things fair and equitable for
You
the
know, I never
entire world.
knew up to now. I never knew that women were really part of that. The coining of the
No,
SDGs.
it's actually two women professors, and I think there are some from some country in South America. I would confirm. I mean, we can check the data on that. But
Okay.
there were two women professors who actually looked at the MD, criticized it, and then created the SDGs that was then adopted by the UN. And then a lot of people then came into that
That's quite
conversation.
interesting.
A lot today they are not as celebrated as they should be, but
Yeah.
that's women innovating and pushing for sustainability. And again, the poster child of what should be inclusive is the UN. And or at least they've given us these goals that we should live up to. And there's SDG 5, which is gender equality, and there's SDG 10, which is reduced inequalities.
Yeah.
And we look at the just ended UN General Assembly, ONGA, and only there was a 90% gender gap in the UN General Assembly, and it's always been 90, 80, 70. We've never had poor men and women in that conversation.
Okay.
And if the UN, that is almost the highest authority making body, and that should be guiding countries and communities on how to be inclusive, cannot
And
be
not doing
inclusive in those conversations, it shows how it is generally. So that's where we really are. And in Africa, I know people like to demonize Africa a lot for so many things, but Africa is we are almost trying.
yeah.
So we have countries in Africa that have attained gender parity in certain areas, like in governance. We have countries like Rwanda that almost have a 50-50 parliament, or at least they've met the quota of 35%. We have more female. We've had more female presidents on the continent than in North
Than
America.
before.
North America's had none actually. So as much as there's a lot of work to do in terms of systemic and cultural barriers and just the foundation within which we exist as people in society, I would say that there's a lot of work to do, but we also have to appreciate how far we've come.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I think it's about looking at the journey so far. If
Mhm.
we can see that okay, we've met significant steps, and then we can always evaluate and go back and say, okay, this is where we need to add up. This is where we're not getting it right. But
Yes.
for Africa, I think we're on the right pedestal to achieving women inclusion
Not
in
by
government.
2030, but
But
hopefully, hopefully we will. But I don't think 2030 is the target. Maybe within the African Union's agenda 2063 for 2060, that gives us like what 47 more years. No, no, 37 more years because
okay.
that's 2060. So maybe by that time, but right now 2030. Yikes.
So speaking of the African Union, in a way to celebrate the Girls' Child Day, I think there were some awards for women who are innovating in the ecosystem, especially in tech and digital innovations. And yeah, the awarded some women. I think I have some names here, like Susanna Farr, who is making education a co-creative journey for women, and Anne Nyaboke, who is enhancing access to literacy through digital apps. And we also have Amina Umohoza, who is empowering girls through e-counseling, and Anita and we were those are strange names for me, and who she's
I
breaking
think you're
down
doing okay.
space science for young people. So these are some women that are actually building something really, there's a different thing to be a founder and you're just being a founder to chase clouds, and then there is being a founder to actually bring solution to the problem that we're having, real life solutions. I think they were recognized by African Union, and I
And we
think,
do celebrate them. I mean, all these ladies you've mentioned are doing really, really phenomenal work, and we celebrate them. We applaud them. We want you to keep doing great work because it's only
and
together
we
that we
need to
can
go
achieve
beyond
it.
celebrating to supporting. I think that's another thing.
Yes, that's.
So it's very easy to celebrate and then backstage you're on your own.
So yes, in terms of celebration, yes, we have to celebrate. So two things happen, and I don't think it's a conversation for either or. It's a conversation of we need to celebrate
Okay,
and we need to support.
support.
We need to celebrate because representation matters. It's important to have as many stories of successful women who are breaking barriers, who are just existing in their
Yeah,
authenticity. And at the same time, we have to support them. I think everybody can pick their own struggle. People can decide that the only thing they want to do is celebrate, and another group of people can say the only thing we want to do is support
supporting.
because there's a lot of work to be done, really.
All right, all right. So speaking on this, can you? I'm very much aware that you are uh, deep into the ecosystem. So, can you share with us some of the key innovative projects by women, and let's see how we can identify some of these and maybe speak about them.
I don't know if I'm deep into the ecosystem
You
myself.
are.
But I mean, in terms of phenomenal women, just back home here, because we're in Nigeria, and I'm going to speak to a Nigerian context. I
Okay.
sincerely apologize. We have people like Ibijoke of Elect Her that is using technology, including they created a platform recently just after the general elections called Analytics that is helping them to get analysis of like voting and how the trends are going and all of that. But Alexa really is using a lot of technology to increase women participation in politics in
Okay.
Nigeria and across Africa, really, which is really interesting to see. We have Piggy. Piggy Vest,
Piggyverse,
everybody knows
yeah.
her. She's done some amazing work. I don't really think that she's done work in financial inclusion, but she's done work in helping society, Nigerians in general, manage finances
Okay.
better. There's Dr. Ola Brown. I stand her. I love her. She's done amazing work with flying doctors. She's done amazing work even with her VC, supporting a lot of
Startups. Okay.
African entrepreneurs and also even women. We have, I mean, the list is long. There's Folake of Emergency Response Africa. I don't know if you've ever had an emergency and you need to call an ambulance in this country, but emergency response has made it really affordable. I think they are more affordable than even state-owned emergency services
Okay.
in Lagos.
Interesting.
There's Auto Girl, Chichi, I call her Chichi. There's Auto Girl. She's part of even our Growth for Her program. She's using technology to increase women participation in the automobile sector.
Okay.
She's also built this really amazing platform for people to access cars for rent, and even you, if you have a car, you can like put it on there, helping people generate
I
extra
think the
revenue.
automobile sector is even where we don't have much women in that
Yes, and
space.
she's doing that, and she's recently a new program to help young girls get trained
Okay.
to drive, and then she can hire you to be like a driver with her
Uh,
company. Because what Auto Girl does really is they connect. If you want to rent a car, want to rent a boat, private jets, everything,
yeah.
she has it. So she can train you, and then you be a driver in her service, which means somebody comes to rent a car. So that's like
Interesting.
access to
Yeah.
employment and encouraging more women. And Nigeria is really low. If you go to Tanzania, go to Kenya, Uganda, you would almost definitely see like a female driver. But in Nigeria, so it's like public transport female driver in Nigeria is really
You know,
low.
speaking of and female drivers in Nigeria, in 100 men in 100 buses, you will see two women max that are like driving in Nigeria actively. Anytime I maybe on Uber or Bolt, you hardly see a woman. Okay, the last time I and my friend wanted to order a ride, and then a woman's name pop up, we're like, "Wow, this is interesting,"
But it shouldn't be. It's not
but it
interesting.
shouldn't
It's
be
not
so
interesting. Like this is
because you
normal, but
don't
not
get
the
to have
cases.
that.
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, so she's trying to do amazing work there in that space as well, which I really applaud. And at Creative Space as well, we're trying to support her in any way that we can. There's Irene Agu, and I think you know her. You've interviewed her
Yeah, I
on
know
the
Irene.
show.
Yeah,
She has Revi. She has that is travel. She's helping a lot of young women, most especially, and youth travel safely across the continent and beyond.
okay.
You can travel on a budget through her platform and you feel safe. She's also doing some amazing work with Irene Leo, making marketing accessible for many businesses. And that's me, but
Yeah, I
I
was
really.
waiting for that. I wanted to help you. At the end of the long list, I was like, okay, let me mention Grace
No,
Oluchi,
no, no,
and
that's me,
and with your,
and I think
your
I'm doing amazing work as well. But I'll allow you guys to judge. But I think I'm doing well.
yeah.
Daddy,
Speaking of women in innovation, yeah, I think I've spoken with a couple of them too. You've mentioned Irene, and I think Blessing Abeng was on Tech Rounds too. Yeah, she's doing a good
yeah,
work too.
and even the girl you interviewed last week, one necker
Cynthia,
with
yeah,
headset
head
doing
tech,
amazing
ed
work in
tech, yeah.
edtech. So
So
yeah,
I think these women are just there. So we just need to do our best to both, like you said, celebrate and support them in whatever they're
celebrate
doing.
support. I think it comes down to the three. I'm just going to mention this. I'm sorry if I'm eating into our time. Rights, representation, resources.
Mm,
That are the three are ask rights. Do women have rights in different sectors, even as women businesses? And if they have rights on paper, are those rights being accorded to them,
Okay.
like their rights to access markets, their rights to access finance, their right to be safe and do their business in safe environment. Right, you need to
Yeah.
think of resources. Are you making available resources for them? And even the resources, so for example, the rights, you want to make available finance, and women need collateral. Most times the strongest form of collateral is land and property,
Yeah.
but then in some countries women don't have
Still have
rights
to
to
buy
own
land.
land, so
Yeah.
that's everything is interconnected. And then representation. Are women represented in policy making? Are women represented in government? Are women represented in the stories that we tell? Which is why celebration is important,
Yeah.
because it helps us bring up that representation power between men and women.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Interesting. So, if I may ask, did you come up with this model?
No, no, no. I didn't. I think
Because,
it was first um, mentioned by, I think, one of these Nordic European countries, one of their vice presidents or whatever. It's a very old model actually.
yeah,
She mentioned it
it's all
in,
encompassing.
yes, she
Really
mentioned
strong.
it in one of her speeches, and then it was then adopted by UN Women,
Okay.
and it's really just, when you listen to it and then you understand, right?
Yeah, I think
Representation and
that's a key
resources.
takeaway from this session. I'm sure some person might be hearing it for the first time, and I'll just call that an R cube, if I'm permitted. R
Yes,
cube.
yeah.
It sounds like a
Argue, right?
mnemonic for
Representation and
easy.
resources. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So we've been able to look into some African women that are doing innovative stuff in the ecosystem and some of the product or innovation. So what innovation in tackles to this point?
In terms of challenges, one, and again, I know I'm speaking from a woman's perspective, and I know that some people will come for me when I say this. I work in social inclusion. So my first take is always, how do we design for everybody? And I'll give you an example. When we launched our program Techamaka, it was my first time in Lagos, 2021, and I did not expect that, like, it's Lagos. Everything you read about
Yeah,
Lagos, people are the tech
developed
whatever, you
and
are the
tech hub.
startup of Africa, kiniko kiniko, and I've become very Nigerian now. You just hear me, I said my kiniko kiniko. Sorry. And we went to some of these communities in Lagos to empower girls with digital literacy. It was more of like a breath program where we just wanted them to have like some technology appreciation. And when we went there, we discovered that in some of these communities, even boys do not know computer and have not seen computer before, and they too were shocked by everything, which means that we needed to come back and rethink the design of our program to include boys, to include girls, and to include even persons with disabilities in underserved communities.
Right.
So, in this conversation, which is why when people attack feminism, I have a problem with it, but that's a conversation for another podcast and another audience.
Another battleground.
Yes, but it involves designing for all. And I would like to say that every African innovator and every African entrepreneur faces challenges because we're on a continent that really has
Definitely.
a bad rep for not doing very well. And it's not just about bad rep for bad rep. We are not doing well as a continent. As much as we want to celebrate our wins, we must also acknowledge the fact that we have a long way to go as a continent. But then when it comes specifically to women, challenges that I would like to highlight, for example, the first thing I'm going to talk about is harassment.
Okay.
Women are harassed in all settings. Personally, sometimes I hate going for conferences or I hate going for certain meetings. Like, thank God for COVID and Zoom, because now it's reduced like my physical interaction in a lot of male dominated spaces. Because you go there and somebody wants to toast you, you don't have to. I'm just here to talk about my
Yeah.
somewhere making it about your body. No, enough safe spaces. Business. That's the first thing I
Okay.
want to talk about. There's a lack of confidence on our part as women, which I think stems from society and culture and all the things, we tend to, but a lot of things are changing in that area. There's access to market, which is a challenge. Just because, again, we're talking about the AFCTA, and moving goods across border. Women going to negotiate with custom officers. It's even safe women carrying goods
Yeah.
across borders. I remember when my mom used to do trade back in the day. Where she would buy goods in Nigeria, she used to plait money in her hair. The roads used to be unsafe. So I mean, a guy is worried that they are going to rob him.
Yeah.
A woman is worried that they may rob her
And
and rape her.
raper.
Do you understand? Like it's double. Access to market is a problem. Access to finance is a problem. The African Development Bank has said there's like a $42 billion gender financing gap in Africa,
Wow.
which means that for almost every 10 men that access finance, probably only two to three
Two.
women will access finance, and then it's not even the same quantity. I would add it's not the same quantity because we have a lot of men. You see them, they'll easily go and raise like 200 million. There's generally a lot of trust around men than there is around women. Women,
Okay.
there's lack of public trust in women,
Women.
especially when it comes to accessing finance. Even though the data and the statistics have shown that women are better money managers than men,
Okay.
there's still that general lack of trust. So there's access to finance. There's the challenge of balancing work and family responsibility.
Yeah, that's a big one.
We all know that the emotional labor of managing a home falls on women.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's a woman's responsibility to take care of the children, to cook, to clean, and all of that. And so it becomes increasingly, what's it called? It becomes increasingly difficult for them to balance that.
A
And a lot
burden,
of
so to
women,
say.
yeah, I don't really want to call it a burden because I'm a Christian, yeah. And in terms of who we are, at our core, we are family. God created Adam, He created Eve, go into the world and procreate. We love that verse.
Yeah.
We are supposed to have family. Family is essential for society. I think because we have a lot of broken families, is the problem why we have a lot of dysfunctional youth and a lot of dysfunctional
Yeah.
adults who now, sorry, I can't curse. This is who now mess up our governments, and Africa is the way it is. So family is very important. So it's not a burden. We should have to have a balanced
No,
home.
there is this sociology that
One of this would be you must start with the family. If children grow up in loving and enabling environments, they'll grow up to be functional adults, which means we'll not have a lot of the
yeah,
problems that we have today. They'll be kind, they'll be loving, they'll be compassionate, and therefore we need to balance that in the home. And because that labor now falls a lot on
the
women,
woman
they are unable to contribute as well to society. We want not necessarily, I'm sorry, not contribute to society because homemaking in itself is contributing
to
to
the
society.
society.
Raising functional children is contributing to society. What I like to say is women who decide to pursue business, when that burden falls on them solely, it is hard for them to do both. So we need more balance. A lot
Okay.
of men, we need you to help us in the not help because it is also your responsibility,
Yeah.
sir.
So it's a
We need to,
partnership. It's a
yes, we need
partnership.
to do, men need to do better in the home front. There needs to be that balance. And we need to understand that it takes a
I
village
think that
to
that
care for that
awareness has
village.
really helped a lot. I think some men are trying to retract and maybe embrace the fact that they also have to help cater for the homes.
Yes, it's not help. You have
Okay,
to.
I called help again.
Yes, yes, we need to. That's the problem as well in the language.
But both genders have to help each other. I mean,
We
helping.
have to work together.
Yeah.
Let's use the word work
Okay.
because I'm not
Okay.
helping you.
Okay.
I'm not helping you, and you are not helping me. We
Okay.
are working together
I
to
think that's
see
better.
that. You see, we're working together to see that we have a balanced and functional
Okay.
home. And when we have children, that we don't outsource parenting to nannies and what have you, and then we end up with very dysfunctional children. And then you start saying, "Oh, I don't know what happened to this child." You know what happened to this child. You were an absent parent, and when you were around, you're on your phone. You were abusive. Conversation for another day. So we move on. But that's one of the challenges that
Yeah.
women face.
Ambition.
Yes, yes, yes. And there's lack of mentorship. And I've spoken to lack of safe spaces. There's also networking and representation that I've spoken to earlier. And there's lots of institutional and cultural barriers that women face. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That was very elaborate and still leaning back on impact and contribution. I want to put you on the spotlight. I want to put you on the spotlight now. So I want a more relatable story, a more personal story about innovation journey of women for yourself, how has it been? What would you say it's been if you're going to like summarize your story? Because I'm trying to look at the innovation, Africa's innovation from a woman's perspective. And for now, you're my woman. I don't know how to. Okay, for now, you are the woman. Okay, so your story, your innovation journey, what has it been like, especially in Africa, and in terms of support, in terms of ambition, in terms of inclusion, in terms of resources? I mean, you mentioned something about the 3 hours and everything.
So again, I'm a very, which is why I had a challenge when you sent me the topic, and what we discussed earlier when we started was I don't think I can speak for all women,
Okay.
but I can speak for myself, and I think that in all honesty, I've had a certain level of privilege, and what you do with your privilege is you help people who don't have the same privilege have that
Yeah. Okay.
privilege. So my innovation journey has always been around development, not just for the sake of it, but just because I wanted to co-create a better Africa. Um, I'm very Pan African. I'm very Afrocentric. I will live and die on this continent. Like there's no japa
No
for me.
japa for you.
There's no
You know,
japa for. If you see me one day saying I'm japa, please
I
bring this
think
video
it
and say
was
ma.
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala that said something about that. There's no harm in jackpying, but people should begin to look at jackpot and kappa. And what does that mean? Jackpot means when you go outside your country from wherever you
Exactly,
are.
exactly.
Because I know I've been in talks with a couple of African innovators who are abroad, but are building products that are solving problem in this
Yes, yes,
ecosystem.
yes. So there's no japa for me. I'll probably just migrate within the continent, move to
Mm.
different countries within the continent to do work. But in terms of my journey, I have very good education background. I was able to go to good schools relatively for Africa, and that afforded me opportunity to meet a lot of amazing people who were
Yeah.
able to support me. I've been supported both by men and women, and I would say this year for the record, I don't know who your female friends are, but maybe you need to change them because this thing that women support women is very true in my life. I am the manifestation of women supporting women. I'm being very serious because a lot of women have supported me on my journey. This whole we rise by lifting others up, it has happened through the women that I have known in my circle, women friends, just women in the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem,
Okay.
women who are sending you funding opportunities, women who are helping you co-create your programs, women who are just listening to say, okay, I think we should do this like this,
Yeah.
giving you insights, women who have mentored me. I don't even think I have male mentor. I have mostly women mentors.
Ideology that women supporting women, we don't ever get to see women
No,
supporting
no, no,
women.
no, no. Women,
There are
I don't,
antics to that.
I don't know about you people. But go and find your friends, reevaluate your friend circle and your circle. But women have really supported me. I'm saying this. This does not mean that I've not had negative experiences with
Okay.
women. I've had women as well who have come and burnt me. But at the same time, I've had a lot of women who have supported me. I cannot
Okay.
fault anybody on that. Um, I have done work in different countries. I used to work in Cameroon, then I worked in DRC, then now I'm in Nigeria. And my work has touched different countries. So technically, I've been in those countries without necessarily living there fully. And for most of the time, my work has been successful as a result of collaboration.
Okay.
The program I launched the program in 2020, Farm Trust and Sons capacity building program for women in Francophone Africa that were in the middle of the pandemic and did not know what to do with their businesses. We did that program, the capacity building arm of the program, and we're able to reach 5,000 women across 25 to 27 different African countries. And we did that because of collaboration. Because I got on a call and I called my friend Kene and I said, Kene, I want to do this. Can you send me a list of people I can call? And she sent me a list. And for like
Interesting.
a month, every day, I was calling people from different communities. How can we co create this together? And a group of people formed an advisory. We co created and co designed the curriculum and said, this is what women in my community would like to benefit from. And we did that. And then they mobilized and marketed. I think we did that with very little budget.
Interesting.
but we're able to reach so many people. Even right now with Growth for Her, it is still the product of co-creation, where I am meeting a couple of other people. There's Oga Victor Idaro from Socio Capital, Madam Ajuma from the Learning Gate. I'm meeting all of these people and saying that. So how do we co-create this? We had a call and we're like, so this is what is important, and then you bring other women entrepreneurs into the conversation to say, would this benefit you? My work has mainly been from collaboration. I don't think I have any success that is as a result of to say I did this alone. I'm not self-made. I will never be self-made. My work, my success, my journey is a lot of women and a lot of men just coming to the table to add their own salt, their own maggi, and their own pepper into the
Yeah,
soup to make it sweet.
that's incredible, and that really struck me. The element of collaboration. I think Africa is really underestimating the power of collaboration because
Yeah.
from the continental perspective, sort of collaboration we're having in Europe from currency and trading and then building innovation, it will be very, very much impressive because if you look at Africa, if you look at Africa in trade and currency, you see that we don't have that collective synergy. And I mean, there should be a unifying currency that help. Seriously, there should be, but we are
Okay.
too apart. I feel that we are too apart
Okay.
as a
True.
continent.
True. And because I am also a policy and a politics and a Pan African, but that is my inspiration. I feel like if I had to channel an alter ego to have the African conversation, it would be to channel Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay.
And about that, there's a lot of other the invincible hand on Africa. We know what that is.
Yeah.
That stops Africa from having this
Did you
conversation.
hear the speech from Professor Lumumba?
At the platform,
Yeah.
I was there live.
Okay. You were
I
there.
was there in person.
Okay.
So yes, I was there in person. So this is what I would say to that. Yes, Africa would be better with collaboration. And Kwame Nkrumah shouted this in the 60s, from the 58 to the 60s. He shouted that Africa needed to be one. Gaddafi shouted it as well, that we needed to be one to attain level of development that we want to. And I mean, Europe has unified and they are stronger, and they keep telling us that we cannot do it. And quite honestly, if you look at a lot of African constitutions, I've recently been restudying the constitution of Cameroon and Nigeria and a few other countries. In almost the first paragraph, you would hear something there about supporting our African brothers and sisters, which means that inherently in our core, we want
It's
to be
supposed.
Pan African,
Yeah.
we want to be communal. But now there are just so many nuances
Pushing us
and
aside.
there's a lot of convolution around it. We're trying to achieve that with the AFCTA and African Continental Free Trade Agreements and area. We're trying to achieve, but there's still root challenge. We have to give ourselves some credit as well,
Okay.
because as much as we are harsh to judge Africa from
Okay.
post in 63 in Nigeria, Cameroon as well should be 60 something. You look at the other countries, which means that we have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Maybe in another 2 decades would be better and would have gotten it.
So let's call it official 63 years because if you're talking of existence, Africa has always existed,
No, no,
right?
no, 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 no.
Civilization.
Our post. That's why I mentioned post independence.
Okay.
Post independence.
Okay. Okay.
Because even when you look at American civilization and all of that, they always tell you post
Post. Okay.
independent. America is a nation 100 plus with almost having 300. I've forgotten how many years they are. So we cannot compare
Yeah.
ourselves to them.
Definitely. Definitely.
But there is value. There is always going to be value in us understanding that at our core we are Ubuntu.
Yeah.
We are one people. Forget the borders and everything, and we need to collaborate together
I'm
to
sure
do
you
one
were
thing.
you were also there for climate action at the Africa Summit
Yes, yes,
for.
I said
Yeah, I think
ACS
I saw that. Yeah,
declaration.
that careful declaration. I could see there was this consistent call for collaboration
Yes,
to enact some of the things that have been discussed even in the past years that have not been implemented. Stuff like having bringing out funds and investments, African separate African countries bringing action, and
true,
that's
true,
really interesting.
true.
All right. Okay, so going thus far. So if you're watching, if you're still watching out there, this is Tech Rounds on Tech Build Africa, and I'm here in the studio with Grace Oluchi, and yeah, we're having this very interesting and interesting and interactive conversation. And if you're here and you're listening to us, please share the link to your friends, innovators, or any woman out there that needs to be inspired. Okay, and for innovators that want to build, help us to build a supportive ecosystem. Okay, and then if you have a question, you can put it down on the comment section. I'll look that up and pick up some of the questions, and we can throw on our guest here, Grace, in the studio. So if you have any concerns, you can put it down in the comment section, and we will address that. All right. So back to the conversation, Grace. Thank you. I think you're doing well so far. I must commend. It's really interesting. So we're at the point where I would want you to, are there some programs, some initiatives, some projects out there that you would recommend for women? Okay, that initiative like this STEM or something that women can leverage
Oh,
to.
plenty,
Yeah. Okay.
plenty.
Okay.
The CyberSafe Foundation by Confidence Tably, I think that's the name. Confidence. At least I know her first name, Confidence.
Mhm.
She's doing amazing work getting a lot of girls into cybersecurity across the continent. There's eSkills for Girls that has a couple of programs across the continent as well through different partners. There's the Equals Digital Fund by the World Wide Web Foundation and the G20, so they're doing a lot of amazing work there as well. There is even Techamaka, our program that we run. We currently don't have any sessions, but keep your eyes on the creative space pages and website. When we do launch another cohort, you'll be informed of that. There is Pacer Academy by Pacer Labs that is being run now by our very own Mui
Uh,
Joseph, that is going
okay.
to be doing a lot of work training young Africans, especially women, in artificial intelligence. Um, there is university that also has like a gender lens to it. There's so many programs, like some of them, even though there's no gender specification for
Attached to
it,
it,
I
yeah.
encourage a lot of women to participate in those programs. There's this one by far, what's it, what's the platform that's, they're training product marketers and product managers. I've forgotten what it is, but I'm sure somebody somewhere knows it. There's, and again, there's Udemy. There's
Yeah.
Coursera. For those, again, I only specify that these are for those that have access to the infrastructure. Because if you don't have access to infrastructure, you cannot, a mobile phone, a laptop is the infrastructure. I'm talking
Yeah.
about your data. You cannot use Udemy, you cannot use Coursera. So those that have access to it, don't waste the opportunity. Go there. There are a lot of free courses. There's even C3 web school online where you can learn to code for free. There's so many resources out there, and there's so many amazing people doing really great course by Dr. Itoro Emembolu that is doing really amazing work as well, training
Hello. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Sorry for that technical glitch. We're just here to wrap up. So if you know some person that have gone off already, I mean, tech happens. Okay. So the most important thing is that we get to finish our conversation. So, yeah, Grace was talking about the programs that are available that women can hop on and leverage. So, I don't know if you were done mentioning some of
I
those
think that's
programs.
pretty much done. Just Google. Go to Google and check STEM academies or women based programs near me, and then you just join one of them. Find out what it takes. Do one of them. There are a lot of scholarships. There are a lot of people that want to do a lot of amazing stuff. So please find it. Be intentional about your growth, about your progress, and just be part of it. Because as much as people say there are not enough women in STEM, we want women in STEM. If you as women or if we as women do not actively want to fill these spaces, then it's all for naught.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. All right. So to wrap this up, so let's look into the future. I like making futuristic statements whenever I'm wrapping up. So looking into the future, what significant changes do you see that will ensure that we have inclusive ecosystems and support for women?
Policy, 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 policy.
Sounds like a campaign.
Yes, yes. I'm advocating for more genderless policy making, which means that it's not necessarily that we do not have great policies at the moment. We have a
Okay.
lot of policies, but we need to add a gender lens to it. Our budgets need to be gender centric from a government level. If you don't know what it means for your budget to be gender centric, please go and Google it. This is not the class for me to educate you on gender equality. That's another lecture, and I'll charge for it. Uh, um, there needs to be a lot of systemic changes again around our policy making,
Okay.
even around because like Julius, I think it's Julius from Julius Malema in South Africa, and he said we need to stop saying protect women, protect women. We need to stop attacking women, and then women will not need to be
To be
protected.
protected. To-
So again, it's a gender inclusion, gender inclusion. Don't exclude women, and women will not need to be included. If you're feeling so offended by the fact that there's a lot of noise around women and people are shouting for gender inclusion or for female or for women inclusion into things, then don't exclude women. It's that simple. If the world was equitable, then nobody would need to shout. Don't exclude persons with disabilities. Don't exclude people on the basis of race, gender, ethnicity, religion, ability. Do not do that, and then we will not need to be shouting in your face. This conversation will be so unnecessary if you
yeah.
just do what you have to do. Thank you.
All right. So we just need to do what we have to do. So
And
there
then
is need for
funding.
everyone to.
Sorry,
Okay.
funding. Please give us money. I want to look into the camera and say, please give
Give us
us money.
money.
And don't give us token money because a lot of money that comes to women, you want to give us $1,000, $500, $5,000. No, 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 no. Give us the kind of money you give to WeWork founder. Even after a failed company, he still raised 350 million within a year of a failed company. Give us that type of money. Trust us with your money. Trust us with your money. We'll do well with it. I so promise you. If they don't do well with it, you come and meet me and we'll have intervention for the women that have run away with your money. But invest in women, fund us, give us good money. God bless you.
I like the fact that you were very intentional about this aspect.
Yeah, no, no, give women money.
Yeah.
Give women money to do business. Like I could bring out my Igbo side now to talk about this. You need to give women money. I'm being serious.
Many
You need to
innovations need to be funded.
invest
Yeah.
in women. And I'm not talking tokenistic investment where you say, oh, we're having a gender lens, I go and give women $5,000. No. If you're going to give a man who has failed over and over in business 350 million, you can give me that same money. Give women money. Please,
Money.
I have so many businesses. I can send you an investor deck if you so please. Send me your send my ask for Emmanuel my email and let's talk. Please invest in me. Invest in women. Now
All
go
right.
go.
Thank you very much. That was a nice pitch.
No, 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 seriously, you have to invest in women. We
All
have
right.
to invest in women. It's that simple.
All right. All right.
Invest in women, support women, buy from women businesses. I can't shout this enough, but it's okay. I'm gonna stop here.
Okay. So I was gonna look into. We had a few comments before the glitch we had lately. I don't need they've disappeared or something with the
with the timer. Yeah, but it's
yeah.
okay. It's okay. We can move
So I
on.
was gonna read that. So maybe if you want to resend your questions or your comments, I know some persons. I wanted to read those out before we blacked out, but I can't find them anymore. Okay. This is the last segment of our conversation, and at this point we get to unwind a bit, and it's just a fun game. So just to put Grace on the spotlight a bit. I mean, it's to one. I don't know if you're ready for this segment.
Yeah, just go ahead. Ask
Okay,
your
okay,
questions
all
because I
right, all
don't know
right.
if I'm ready.
Okay, so if you would have dinner with any historical African woman innovator, who would it be and why?
Hmm. I don't know about innovator. I mean, everybody is an innovator. There's so many people. I can think of Miriam Makeba, the musician. I think she innovated and pushed for better for the mainstreaming of African music in her own way. There's Queen Zinga of Angola. I mean, I want to have an entire dinner party with the women of the ABBA riot, the ABBA women's riot, everybody who participated in that. Um, oh, there's Maya Angelou. I know she's American and all of that, but she's of African descent. Her words and everything, she was innovative in the way she was just
Yeah.
creative. I want to have dinner with her. I want to sit in her mind and let's have a dinner party. But yeah,
You know the one that struck me, having dinner with all the Aba women from the
no,
riot.
no, I just want to.
That would be a wonderful
Yes, I
dinner.
just want
So
to sit on the other side and just watch them. I just have good conversation and be like, "Mommy,
such a dinner.
so that's all."
All
Yeah.
right, okay. On to the next one. Can you recall any funny tech related incidents from your early days
Oh yes,
of
there's this
recent?
one. There's one. I think that incident pushed me to be so intentional. I went for a job interview and it was not even a job interview, it was an internship interview. I
Okay.
was in uni at the time, way back. And then they said they gave us tasks to do and they gave us the task. We're supposed to do it in Excel, but I never used Excel in my life.
Oh,
Funny enough, and that was the problem with our education because I was going to be graduating from university with a degree in finance and I never
I
used
did.
Excel.
Wow.
It was so strange. And then I went to this conversation with these people and then they just gave me the work to do, and I'm just like, but what am I supposed to do with this? And I could not use it. And
Count
then
the cells.
the only no. The funny thing is, I did not even know the tool to use. I did not even know. They gave us a Word document that we should compute some numbers and all of that. I did not know the tool to use. So if they said write with book and pen, there it have been a simple thing.
Yeah.
But they gave me computer now, and I'm like, excuse me, sir, what's this for? And I didn't know what to do. I knew only how to use Word at the time, so I did it in Word. That everything I know in tech, every technology thing, computer is self taught. Because after that, I was just so embarrassed and I hate embarrassment. It's like my lineage will remember this. So I just had to learn, but that was really embarrassing. And it's funny now, but then it wasn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that need. There's always that need to embrace self development, personal
Exactly,
development, develop
exactly.
yourself. Yeah, I mean that moment pushed you to actually go and acquire that skill and be good at it, and you can't even face that
Yes.
anymore. Okay, on to the next one. Share a funny or unexpected moment from your journey as an innovator or entrepreneur. What did you learn from that experience?
I don't know if I have funny moments. I don't know if I have funny moments. But I think the greatest thing that anybody can learn from my journey, and I think my journey is still in the very early stages, is collaboration. Partnerships work.
Okay.
I'm the result of a village. It just takes a village. Find your village, find your clan, find your people. Be open to partnerships. Some people are going to break your heart in terms of, and I think work has broken my heart more than man, but that's another conversation. So find your village, find people that will support you on your journey. That's the best advice I can give, really.
All right. So share a creative idea of innovation you've seen recently that inspired you, either from Africa or any other place in the world.
There's Canva. Canva inspires me a lot. I like what they've done with it. I like what it is. I mean, me now, I'm designing PowerPoint. Somebody will think I'm a star. I'm not. It's Canva. Thank you.
And there's this new feature, the AI, the magical stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Canva is really amazing. I think it's helping a lot of people, especially in developing countries.
Even entrepreneurs, small scale entrepreneurs, they can
Exactly.
be able
They
to
can,
do a couple of stuff.
it's
Yeah.
helping a lot of people. I really applaud Canva for the work they've done. There's this other woman who has done some amazing work. I've forgotten her name and I do apologize because hashtag know her name. Um I've forgotten her name, but she's doing some amazing work around women's reproductive health.
Okay.
Um, kind of democratize and making more affordable for women to like freeze their eggs
Oh,
if you want to, because again, biological clocks are real, no matter how much we want to deny it. So she's doing some really amazing work in women's health. There are other really amazing products that I could think of, but for time, I'll just leave
okay.
it at
All
those
right.
two.
Interesting. All right. The next one. Describe your current project or venture using an emoji. So let.
I don't know. I don't know.
What?
I don't know. I don't know. I have like two emojis that I use, which is eye roll and sneeze, because I'm always rolling my eye at something like, what is that? So nothing. I don't think I can do emoji at the moment, but maybe SMH.
Okay.
Like, just shake your head, because, like, what are you people doing? Include women in stuff. Like, what?
Okay. I think that works. The next one. Traditional or continental dishes.
Tradition.
Mm.
I need to say palm oil. I need
Mm.
to, I need to get my hands dirty. I need to. I love food, clearly. But yeah, so traditional, please. What is content?
Maybe I,
Traditional.
I get invited for dinner sometime. I could try
No,
some of these dishes.
no. But traditional.
Okay. If you could collaborate on an innovative project with any woman, living or historical, who would it be? And what kind of project would you be working out together?
I think right now I want to innovate more. I'm already doing a lot of work. A lot of work. But what I want to do now in this next journey or chapter of my life, next decade, I want to contribute more in the area of democracy and governance
Mm.
and policy in Africa. So somebody that I can think of, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, I want to partner with her, and I think we're already doing some work together.
Okay.
There's Kawala, or Madam Kawala of Cameroon. She has a political party, and I'm Cameroonian, and we've had a president for 41 years. I would like to see how to innovate democracy in Cameroon, and I want to know how we can get youth. How can we use technology, for example, to what's the word, to re-energize the youth
Yeah.
to be invested and to push for better governance, and let's get that Oman out there. But
The sort of push we had in the past 2 years in Nigeria,
yes, that kind of change. I want
there's
to
been
see
a
how
very
to
huge
yes, I
renaissance from
want to
the
see how
youth.
to innovate around democracy, governance, and policy for Africa.
Interesting. All right, still on innovation. So, if your innovation journey had a theme song, what will it be? Just give us. Can you even sing a line for us?
God don't make mistakes. What about me? I think this is a song by Maverick Music, and I think it's like that because sometimes it's so hard. It's like, this is a mistake, God, but God is just like, girl, it ain't no mistake. You better buckle up, because I'm giving you grace for the journey, and yeah, because it's hard. But I honestly don't think that I could do anything else. Uh, My journey, I started working at a bank and I quit like after 1 week. I
Oh,
left the thing 1 week because it's not for me.
what
But
happened?
this nothing. I do not just. But this is me. I'm so heartbroken. I think it was Dr. Tara Trent who said, "Find what breaks your heart, and that's your passion, and that's your
Hmm,
purpose."
interesting.
And I found what broke my heart. What broke my heart the most was the state of Africa and where we are as a people, filled with so much, yet so like, what is happening? That broke my heart more than anything else, and I think that has caused me a lot of depression. So what I'm doing now, I don't think I could do anything else. It's like a calling that is stronger and bigger than your life. So I've been called to do the work that I do, and therefore it's like, God, is this a mistake? Because I want money. Because this work I'm doing, there's no money in it, and I want to be a baller. I want to go to Dubai, Lord. But it's like, this is the work you have to do. So that's that.
Interesting.
So God don't make
Interesting.
mistakes. So I'm thinking He makes mistakes, but He doesn't.
I believe he that commissioned you will see you through.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Okay. Still speaking about the future. Let's look at the next big trend, tech trend. So, what in 5 to 10 years time?
In terms of what's the next big trend,
Yeah.
I honestly don't know, because we did not see artificial intelligence coming,
Mm.
but it's here. I think technology is so unpredictable and so disruptive, which is why
Mm.
we love it, but then we hate it, but then we love it. I think AI is still going to be here because we haven't scratched the surface of what is
Yeah.
possible with artificial intelligence. And there's going to be a lot of regulation around it in the next coming years, that I
Yes.
feel like 5 years is a short time and we're still going to be here with it. But I think the future may also be
Yeah.
deviceless. Uh, I don't know how that is.
How is
People implanting chips into their brain to make phone call. Like I just think, call Emmanuel, and Emmanuel will be called, and then will be synced through some device in brain waves.
mm.
But maybe the future is deviceless as well. We don't know, but we're here for it.
Think
God,
about that one.
if
Mark
God keeps us
Zuckerberg. I
alive.
think there is this new meta technology that easily makes meetings, conferences like look real, no matter the
Yeah,
boundaries.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the new, the
He's
improved
doing, he's
metaverse,
doing, he's
and
doing some good stuff with
yeah,
that. I mean,
and
we
it
don't know.
looks cool, really immersive.
He does.
And about AI too, I think the regulation we need about AI should come now, because a lot of things are going to happen and a lot of people would be in a risk. Okay, imagine when you're giving your consent and your approval for AI to, you agree for AI to have access to your looks, your voice, and how you speak and how you express yourself. So I mean, over time it will be very easy for people to be able to clone you and maybe do stuff that you are not even aware
Oh,
of.
true.
And then there's been this story I just heard that someone appeared, moved the money, and they moved the money and it wasn't the bank manager. So I think these, yeah, we really need regulation around AI ASAP.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think there are two types of regulation. There's policy that should control and there's policy that should enable. For Africa, we need to identify policies that will enable the use of artificial intelligence for growth,
Yeah.
for development, and for good. And we need to regulate in terms of we need to control to reduce abuse and make sure that artificial intelligence is inclusive. But yeah, I
All right.
definitely see that it's going to be around for a while.
All right. For the last one, the last but not the least, Grace Oluchi, what's your passion outside of work?
I know people feel like I live and breathe work, but I live a very full life. I don't know about passion, but I love food. As we've earlier said,
Okay.
I like cooking. I did not say that in public, and nobody is invited to my house. Even if you know where I stay, I will not give you food if you come to my house. I love to travel. I love hanging out with my friends. I live a very full life. I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of family. I love spending time with the people that I love
Okay.
because I mean, at the end of the day,
Life is short.
you better live it well.
You only live once.
You only live once. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I mean, hasn't this been interesting?
I don't know. It's just
Okay.
no, it's nice. But I think
Yeah.
I've had a good time. I normally don't like sitting in front of the camera, but I didn't feel like I was in front of the camera. Even though there are so many lights here.
Yeah. You are the
So,
light of the world, so you need light.
Abby.
Okay. All
Anyway,
right.
so thank you guys.
Okay,
Thank
your
you for
last
having. In terms of last words, I just want to say to every woman out there, to every person really, because it's not just for women. Let's be inclusive. Design for all, innovate for all. Think of everybody in your journey. How can persons with disabilities use this technology or access this program? How can women access it? Think of the work. And again, let's stop fighting. Let's stop all this. Don't be. I don't know how to say it. There's a lot of work to be done. A lot of work. Like when you read the statistics on Africa, there's still a lot of work to be done. So how are we collaborating with each other? How are we working with each other? Support women around you. Invest in women. Fund women. Buy from women. Not just women, but Africans. Let's be indigenous in nature.
people connect with you. We never spoke about that.
Okay, so I'm on LinkedIn. Grace Oluchi is the name. You can find me, tagging me on all of these posts. So if you go to any of these posts, you can find me. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet a lot because Twitter is toxic. But I'm on X. Yes,
Okay.
I'm on X. You can find me on X. I sometimes retweet things and share my own opinions there. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook. But I don't know how Facebook is anymore. But I'm on Facebook. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I would say thank you very much everyone that has made our time to watch this session, to stream this session from LinkedIn or from YouTube. We really appreciate, and I would call on you to Go on all the platforms, Tech Build Africa, follow us, okay? Follow our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and share the contents we have. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, now X, and Facebook, and LinkedIn. And then, in case you want to reach out to some of the innovators we've spoken with, and you want to build something, we talked about collaboration. Okay, you can reach out, and then we'll make that happen and see how people can collaborate and build a lot of innovation in this space. And so far, so good. It's been wonderful. It's been myself, Emmanuel Michael Amogu, and they call me the innovation cheerleader. I don't know if I'm doing that, but till next time, I'll just say adios and do have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you very much.